Part of this journey is honoring every bit of it, every layer, every seeming complexity, and included in that is what we refer to as shadow work. Think about the imagery of shadow work. One moving through sunlight can see the shadow moving behind it. It's cast aside from the one seeming to move. The avatar, the one seeming to cast that shadow, has never been it. And it often refuses to look at it at all. It just keeps moving towards the light. It feels drawn that way, yet by denying that which seems to be tagging along, it's only exposing more and more of that in its experience. Because that which we resist, of course, persists. Not to harm us, but again to invite us to look at it, include it, allow it to all be enlightened in the space for which it's been afforded. Being able to be alone with oneself and one's thoughts can be one of the most difficult things for many. We fill our calendars with things and people and places. We buy material objects. We overeat. We overspend. We overshop. We do all the things to fill that hole. But that void never feels complete because that void isn't separate. It's within us. It's calling us home. It's inviting us into the shadow work. It's inviting us into the things we've told ourselves about the avatar that have never been true. Awareness is all of this. We've discovered that in the Talking to the Dead series. But outside of that series, I wanted to do a specific video on shadow work because I think it's significant and important enough to discuss. We could realize we've lost our way when we simply just do not feel good out here in the dreamscape. We're running towards things and away from that which will heal us. Imagine, if you can, being that one walking in sunlight, knowing the shadows right behind it. And imagine an exercise like we all have done probably at some stage in this lifetime, where we use a trust exercise with another person and we fall back into their arms, knowing they will catch us, or hoping they will at least, right? The shadow is expecting or honoring the same. It's saying, fall into me. Don't be afraid of me. I'm not here to harm you. Drop into the pain. Drop into the wound. Drop into the one inviting you, calling to you. Let the busyness go for a minute. You've tried that path. It's never worked. It may make you feel good for a little bit. You have a good experience for the day. You buzz a bit from that. You have a good disassociation into Netflix for a while. You have a good shopping trip or shopping experience. You get that thank that fills your heart for a few minutes, but that void will always slip back into your awareness. Try for a moment today to allow yourself to drop into it and say, I surrender to my shadow. Show me what needs to be seen here. These wounds, these pains, these gaps, these misunderstandings of myself that seem to be projecting inward from outward. Those are just inviting you home as well. Until you give yourself the loving avatar that's allowing this experience the ability to dive into the wound and meet it there with grace and a little bit of grit. It just overcomes us. Speaking of grace and grit, it is a fine balance. Offering grace to others, offering grace to yourself, but always maintaining enough of a grit, enough of a sandpaper surface, enough of a discomfort to get back into the self-work. Of course, it doesn't always feel good. It's not intended to feel good. It's intended to feel relief, release, surrender. Then it can let go. Then it can truly absorb you back into the truth that you are, which is unconditionally loved. We lose ourselves in the dream over and over. As I've said in every video, this work is never done. This unraveling is never done. Enlightenment is only afforded to us in each now moment, and it is simply enlightening that which is untrue. I find such comfort in knowing that this grace and grit balance is here because I deserve it. This little Kelly, this big Kelly, this whole illusion of many Kellys all deserve it. When she forgets that, she suffers just like everyone else. Yet there seems to be more platitude and willingness to know where to reinsert these spaces and gaps to take care of herself, this avatar, to give it space to love, to give it space to heal, to give it space to look at those old wounds. When she feels abandoned by others or experiences her life, she knows that's not true. When she feels envious of others, what they seem to have or not have, she knows that's not true. When she feels attacked or dismissed or unworthy, she knows that's untrue because there's been enough work here that the yin and the yang, even though they're both still carrying out, awareness is always playing louder in the background now, reminding her to come home, precious child, come home. Here you will always slip into the wound where it shall be healed yet again. Much love. Until next time.